Hi guys, welcome back to Goabie's Try Tips, where I give you 3 tips about a particular weapon. Oh, that's my controller disconnecting and reconnecting. I got myself a new one for Christmas and it was on sale, so here's hoping it comes soon. Sorry for that nonsense. So I wanted to talk about Sword and Shield because it's kind of the game's default weapon. So if you don't know, in Try, your box actually only comes with one Sword and Shield and one Greatsword, the basic iron one. Unlike in later games where you get one of every iron weapon, which, makes a lot of sense. This one, they just give you the 2 and they default you to the Sword and Shield. And, as we've discovered from, social experiments, defaults are very powerful. Because when people don't know, they will just stick with the default because, why not? It's the default for a reason, right? So it's kind of funny because people I think get off of Sword and Shield because it is kind of a weaker weapon, but it's still very potent in its own right. And what happens is people will come back to Sword and Shield later in their life of playing the game because they want to experiment with stuff. And there's one thing Sword and Shield is particularly good at, which is spamming attacks. All right, so when you spam attacks, if you don't know, status and element are kind of like, you just want to swing with them to inflict the maximum damage. So if you want to do a lot of elemental damage, if you want to do a lot of status, Sword and Shield is kind of the way to go. For example, Morpheus Knife is a very common weapon to try against Elatrion when people want to sleep bomb the horns or the wings off. I mean, I've done it too. It's strong. And people like the paralysis Sword and Shield because I think people overrate paralysis. But if you are going to paralyze and you're not going to stack gun, then Sword and Shield is a very, very fine choice. It also just does a lot of damage. When you have to fight your Elatrion Urgent and you're trying to decide what weapon to go, I would honestly recommend Nardibosha, this one, because this is available. This is the maximum upgrade, and it's available before Elatrion. And Sword and Shield is just very comfortable, maneuverable. It has a shield in case of emergencies. And it's kind of, the damage is pretty decent. This is a Barioth weapon, so it has low raw and high affinity, affinity is like hidden raw. It's kind of like hidden bad raw, but that's okay. And if if a monster has an elemental hit zone that is particularly vulnerable, you can really rack it up. So this guy is very strong. It's actually one of the weapons I would recommend for your Elatrion Urgent. So, having said that, I want to give you 3 tips because I see people with a very high rank and they are not doing Sword and Shield correctly, right? It's crazy to think about, but this little weapon is being kind of abused. Okay, so we're going to go over 3 tips. Let me just put this on. I picked a random one. And my first tip is I'm just going to show you the proper combo. Surprisingly, it's a little bit technical. Now, I'm sure, I don't know, if you play Smash Brothers or something, or Street Fighter or something like that, it's probably really easy for you. But it's funny. So X, your 2 attack buttons, X and A, this is your jump slash from draw. So if you just press that, and a direction, if you tilt and press it, you get a jump slash. If you're drawn, you press both attack buttons, you get the jump slash, okay? And then from there, what you want to do is you want to tilt the stick because you want this rising slash. This is the start of your combo. If you don't tilt the stick, you get the downward slash. Okay, now the downward slash is actually okay, but you might as well put the rising slash in there. So tilt the stick and press attack. You can also get this from the jumping. Tilt the stick, press attack, okay? Once you get the rising slash, let go of the tilt stick and just press X. Right? Okay. So it goes it's kind of like if you're into music, classical music and orchestra, it's kind of like conductor. You go down, up, left, right, or whatever. Down, up, whatever. Okay. So you want these 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the point is, when you get to this, right there, when you go from right to left, you want to stop mashing X. Because if you keep mashing, you get this. That is really bad. This right here, this shield bash, does not apply the element or status of your weapon. And additionally, it even bangs your teammates away. Let me see if I can do it to Cha-Cha here. There. So even that final sword slash actually launches your teammates, which is absolutely terrible. This combo is terrible and should never ever be used. There's no circumstance where that combo is good. And the thing is, you will just get this combo if you keep mashing X. You will just get that combo. And that's the biggest mistake that people who come back to Sword and Shield, that's the mistake they made. So what you want to do is after you go to that slash right there, after you go from right to left, your stick is in neutral, and you just press A twice. I just screwed it up. That's very embarrassing, but there. I mean, I am talking, so there. So you can even mash until the very last second, and then just mash on A, and you'll get these final 2 shots. So again, those 2 shots, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if you want, you can put a round slash at the end. I don't know. I hit it or I don't hit it. I don't really care. It's not important to me. So this is the first tri-tip. That is your bread and butter combo. Sometimes I will just stand there. Like say the monster's disabled, like I'm hitting Uragon's nutsack, and I just don't want to move from the spot. Oh, Goabie. Oh, dude. It must be Jaggy because no one else comes up here. Yeah, so right there I actually missed the left to right, but that's okay. As long as you don't get the shield bash, you're okay. So yeah, so that's tri-tip number 1. The shield bash is very bad. Tri-tip number 2 is that the jump attack. This is crazy. Okay, the jump attack actually gives you flinch proof. So one of the biggest problems with Sword and Shield, and Lance users will tell you this, like if you're lancing and there's a longsword and you're trying to share an area, the lance will just trip you over and over. You actually like just kind of fall on your knees in a Walmart, and you can't stop falling on your knees in the Walmart. But when you do this first, you'll get about 3 to 4 seconds of flinch free. Nothing can trip you. Like by trip I mean like, oh my god, dude. By trip I mean like the little thing where you fall down. You can still be launched. You can still be bashed away. You know, you can't, like, if the monster does a big giant attack that sends you flying, well, okay, you're not going to be flinch free. But, like, for the little attacks, like, you know, when Diablos is turning and his feet kind of trip you, you kind of, like, fall down. If you are in this temporary jump slash, you will be flinch free, okay? So that is the second tip. Use this whenever possible in a sort of, like, crowded situation, and you will be flinch free. Okay, the third tip is very, very simple, and I hate that I have to emphasize this because I don't know what the fuck the devs were thinking. Do not use this weapon underwater. It's so bad underwater. And it's not just that because it's bad, I tell you not to use it, it's not fun. Like, it ruins the identity of Sword and Shield. For most people, the Sword and Shield, the joy is hitting all these blade shots, watching your elemental and status rack up, and underwater, your attack is slow, stupid, it just sucks, okay? So just don't use this weapon underwater. Okay, now, I recorded a tiny little demo. Let's go to, here. Okay. And the demo, honestly, is, I just wanted to demonstrate the flinch free because it's actually kind of crazy. It's like, it was news to me. I was playing with someone, and they were pretty decent, and we were fighting Giganox, and I was kind of hitting him, and he wasn't flinching. I'm like, and there's one thing that can cause that, which is if you take an adamant pill, you're actually flinch free for like, I don't know, 15 seconds. So if you didn't know that, now you know. But he didn't take an adamant pill, and he was flinch free. I was like, dude, are you cheating? And he was like, no, you get flinch free. I was like, what? Like, I had no idea. I've played this game for thousands of hours. I had no idea. So I couldn't believe it, and I tested it for myself, and you know, holy crap, you were actually flinch free. So, and I'll just kind of commentate randomly about the Uragon fight. I think Sword and Shield's actually... Okay, right here. Yep, see, there. So, in traffic, I got flinched. I'm not blaming Kouzui. I like these guys. All three of these guys are really cool with me. This is just what happens. So, yeah, Sword and Shield is very vulnerable to this. And I will... Oh, right here, I thought I was getting disconnected. I thought I was going to be launched out of the city. Just fucking dropped into a black hole. Okay, so I see Kouzui behind me. Watch this. I am not tripping. He gave me a little slap on the ass there, and I didn't trip because I was in the temporary flinch-free, jump-proof, whatever. Okay, we gotta talk about monster movement a little. A lot of monsters have this curve attack. John was asking me about the Diablos. Diablos has like the single or double head swing, which is also a curve attack. And I always tell people inside the curve of the monster's body is a blind spot. So Uragon has this identical movement. Right, so he is, if you watch my mouse cursor, he's swinging this way, like that's kind of the arc. So right in the middle of it, where I'm standing here, is where he's blind. See, like let's go back a little more. So right here. So he's beginning to curve this way. I am actually in the blind spot right now, which is really sick. Because if you're Lance, you can start poking actually. You can poke where he is and where he will be. If you're a Grid Sword, you can actually stand here and begin to wind a level 3 charge for where he will be. And otherwise you can just kind of stand in here and chill. You can sharpen, whatever. So this is a very important position and a common theme in monster movements. And I mean this is Monster Hunter. That's the most important thing you can do in this game is to understand monster movements. And in Monster Hunter we talk about whose turn is it? Is it the monster's turn or is it my turn? For example, if a monster is doing some gigantic attack, it's like, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about stopping the gigantic attack. It's his turn, I have to get out of the way. And the more you understand about monsters, how they move, where their blind spots are, you can steal their turn and it becomes your turn, which is just free damage or free utility to do something else useful. Yeah. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about. I actually had all this in mind when I recorded this video. The reason I actually wanted to do Uragon with this weapon is because I want to talk about the shield bash. I don't mean the shield bash in the combo, I mean the standalone double shield bash. You go like one downswing, one forward dash. And I would go so far as to say I use the shield bash exactly in one scenario, and that is against Uragon. It's when I can't do anything else productive, I will shield bash. For Uragon specifically, that is when he farts. Because I can't hit the back of the tail, it's too high for the sword and shield. And you can't hit anywhere else because it's covered in fire fart. So, yeah, that's the shield bash I'm talking about. I literally, when I'm recording this video, it's like, I'm going to demonstrate the shield bash. So the shield bash is just for KO. And again, I will only do it if nothing else is available. Sometimes I do it against Diablos as kind of a meme. Because like if I paralyze it and my teammates are like hitting everything and I'll just go like, hey, look at me, hammer sucks, and I'll just do that. But I've played with people who are trying to be helpful and like, no, yeah, but that's nice. I like when guys are helpful. But what happens is like I will put a monster into a pitfall trap and I'm hammering, so I'll go and triple the head. And they'll come by and they'll actually start shield bashing. And like that's not what your weapon is good at. Let me deal the KO damage because nothing is comparable to hammer KO. Hammer KO is crazy. Again, right there I was in punch free. What you need to do as Sword and Shield is to spam attacks. You need to spam element, you need to spam status. Like, that is what you are good at. I'm good at dealing head damage and KO, you're good at just dealing overall damage. So, play to your weapon's strengths. Don't ever shield bash a monster's head, even if you're trying to be helpful. For me, it's solely used for, I literally cannot do anything else useful. I don't feel like placing a trap, I don't need to sharpen, I can't hit the monster, so then I shield bash. Or I'm goofing off. You're allowed to have fun too. I don't know what happened there. I don't know how I didn't get like tramped all to hell, but yeah, that's my Sword and Shield chart tips. So again, let's review. First tip: use the correct combo. Do not mash X. When you get the right to left slash, go to neutral stick AA to get 2 more slashes, and then from there you can press plus to complete with a round slash if you want. Do not use the shield bash and the bang. Second tip was use the jump in to be flinch free. Very, very useful in team. It's great that they gave Sword and Shield this utility to be playable with other hunters. Like Lance wishes it had something like that. And Adamant Pill wishes it didn't have like a 15-second duration. Third tip is to do this crouching up and down that I'm doing. No, just kidding. Third tip is don't bring this goddamn weapon underwater. Alright guys, Merry Christmas Eve, and I hope you have a good one. See you on the next time. I'll see you on the next one. My English sucks.